Planning on being in my shot the entire time? Well, hey there, Papper people. It's me, Jason, your favorite thick boy sleep technologist, RPSGT, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, before I talk about the world's greatest, most bestest algorithm, we have to cover a few things. Please bear with me because this is very important to me. Every time someone takes a deep breath like that, you know it's getting real. This whole channel that I have created here, the Lanky Lefty 27, is based on total honesty. I want to be as honest with you as possible. With that comes hurt feelings of people and companies. I don't like that, but my focus and my priorities lie with you guys, the audience, people who are using CPAP, bilevel, ASV for the treatment of sleep apnea, any type of sleep apnea, obstructive or central. That said, I have to say what's on my mind, and I treat you guys as I would my family. Now, some of you know, some members of my family suffer from sleep apnea. They've been through the same crap you guys have with a recall, with poor follow-up, things like that. So I'm very protective of the sleep community as a whole. I view you guys as family members. Some of you are grumpy, some of you guys I love. I'm gonna treat you as if I love you, and I want you guys to get the best sleep possible using what is my opinion and hopefully my informed opinion by working in the field for so many years, like decades actually. Now we're gonna get on to the question at hand, because this is gonna be semi-controversial, as it always seems to be. Someone asked me a question of what I think of the iDisc. It is a new machine. I have no experience with this machine whatsoever, but in researching what it was, I found that it is basically, looks like the ResVent iBreeze, which I just did a review on. It's just a smaller form of it. Has a different company name, but if you actually look at it and the pictures of it, the control panel, everything in it is the exact same. It even reports data to iMatrix, that program, which I thought was just abhorrent. What does that have to do with this subject? Not much, other than someone said, have you seen it? I started researching it, and it got me on the topic of, it has this amazing advanced algorithm.
This is the iBreeze that I already did a review on. If you can see here, if we scroll down to the algorithm, we have the REG algorithm, which I found to be absolutely terrible. Now check out this from the iDisc. It's claiming to be the exact same algorithm.
So let's talk about the best algorithm on any machine available. The answer is none of them. They all suck. Okay, why am I so negative with that? I'm gonna have some positive at the end, I promise. I'm not gonna leave you hanging on this is just doom and gloom. We have to think of algorithms as, what is an algorithm? What's its purpose? An algorithm is, if this happens, then this happens. And how does that relate to an APAP machine, an automatically titrating positive air pressure machine? If you're set to APAP and the range is whatever, doesn't really matter, and you're cruising along, what an APAP machine is supposed to do is, if it detects a breathing anomaly, such as a respiratory effort related arousal, a hypopnea, an obstructive apnea, or a central apnea, it is supposed to do something. And what it is supposed to do with any of the obstructive events is increase the pressure. If it sees a RERA, a hypopnea, an obstructive apnea, it is supposed to increase the pressure. And who knows what it is? They're all slightly different. Some are, if you see this many hypopneas in this period of time, we increase by this much. If it's this many, then we increase by this much. If it's a central apnea, then we decrease by this much. If you have more than that in this set period, it'll really decrease. That's more or less how they work. Anyone who has done a PAP therapy analysis with me on my website, always get a plugin, Jason. Yes. axgsleepdiagnostics.com. And you're on APAP, I show you this relationship and I show you how bad it is. It does not respond appropriately. Let's pretend like it does respond appropriately. Remember, an algorithm, if this happens, then this happens. By its very nature, if an obstructive apnea occurs, you've already missed it. You've missed the boat. Now you've woken up. Now your blood oxygen has decreased. You've woken up, and now all of a sudden it's gonna ramp up. Sometimes that ramp up wakes you up. Sometimes it causes your mouth to open. Worst case scenario, it wasn't a true obstructive apnea anyway, and now it just increased the pressure on you. So now you possibly have a really bad mouth leak. Possibly, and I've seen this enough, it increases your pressure enough that it puts you into that realm of central apneas. What's really bad is when it keeps calling those central apneas obstructive apneas. I don't like APAPs. I've seen algorithms on all the machines. They are all terrible in their own way. And now you're saying to yourself, but Jocelyn, excuse me, Jocelyn, How do we ever get to the plus when APAP is a good thing? At some point, we might have an algorithm that does work. There's a guy I did a PAP therapy analysis with. He's a software engineer. He's actually working on it. He and I have done some consultations. He's gonna try to make this thing work. He's like, I wanna make this thing think like your brain thinks. That's a scary proposition in itself, but let's see if it works. So hopefully we can agree on that. If the apnea or hypopnea is allowed to occur, the damage has already been done. The algorithm at that point is worthless. But I said earlier that not all algorithms or APAPs are bad, and that's true. Look, in this day and age, we cannot rely on our doctor to get our pressures right. The apps that they have available for us are terrible. If you're relying on that leak data and the happy face in the score, that's a horrible way to go. That information is actually dangerously misleading, as many of you have already found out. However, that said, we do have to take some control of this. I'm not even blaming doctors at this point or people that follow up with you. There's no billing code for it. They're not gonna make money. That's the sad reality of this. So you are left to your own devices very, very often. So an APAP is super helpful when you're not really sure what pressure you should be on. And you can set yourself a range of something low to something higher. And if you are a savvy person and you use a program such as Oscar, which is a free download at sleepfiles.com/Oscar, you can look at your data. You can look at every breath you take. You can get a tutorial from me, again, through my website, and you can find out what all this stuff means. And we can actually dial in on a pressure, not even a pressure range, a pressure that's gonna work best for you. We'll also isolate other problems. We'll fix all that stuff and get you right. But an APAP does have its place diagnostically, so for a very short term. Therapeutically, for long term, you're gonna wanna be on a CPAP pressure. So when I hear advanced algorithm, I scoff, I chortle, I guffaw, and I get a little verklempt. Last time, if you guys would like a PAP therapy analysis with me or a consultation session, check out axgsleepdiagnostics.com, set up an appointment with moi, and we'll get that done. Let me know what you think of this video in the comment section down below. I'm always interested in hearing what your thoughts are on this. Check out the description box for any interesting links that you may want to peruse. And now is a wonderful time to thank all the supporters of mine on Patreon, on YouTube, people that make PayPal donations, and people that just simply send kind words, and everyone who watches this video. I really do appreciate your time. Hopefully you learned something. If not, my bad. And now watch this very slick outro. Have a good night. Why does your mask smell like my feet? Pick up some Mask Bright today. Thank you to all watching, but an extra thick thanks, buddy, to Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Matthew Lilly, Mona Swearingen, Chung Chu Chen, Patricia Espelong, Ray Troutman, Sarvesh Joshi, and Stuart Hetherington, as well as a big thank you to all my other Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Little tiny thanks, buddy, for you guys.